I sincerely hope that you will enjoy the sessions. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, sir. Now may I please request Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria, Param Vishesh Seva Medal, Ati Vishesh Seva Medal, Vayu Sena Medal, 8th Decomp, Chief of the Air Staff to deliver the keynote speech.
Honorable Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh, Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, my fellow chiefs and distinguished members of delegations present here and on virtual conference, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. At the outset, let me express my deep gratitude to the chiefs and delegates for accepting our invitation during these troubled times given the COVID travel restrictions and coming to Aero India 21. For all those who could not make it physically due to the COVID issues, your virtual presence is as important to us, and we look forward to sharing and exchanging thoughts during this conclave. We have witnessed a paradigm change in the geopolitical landscape in the recent years, and globally, we are facing unprecedented levels of uncertainty, volatility, and interconnected threats. While the world was grappling with complications and control of the pandemic, the worsening interstate relations, rising mistrust, and geopolitical tensions have only reinforced the importance of mature and balanced cooperation at international level. We need to strengthen our mutual understanding and existing security frameworks based on the principles of cooperation, collaboration, and coexistence. For India, our security challenges are as varied as our geography and, may I say, as unpredictable as our threats. Being in the thick of operations quite often and currently virtually round the clock, the Indian Armed Forces have gained a wealth of experience and expertise over the years, which can be of mutual interest. Indian Air Force has built bridges of friendship through numerous bilateral and multilateral exercises with a large number of nations who share common values and interests in maintaining peace and stability. These joint exercises have not only helped us share our best practices, but have also created an environment of trust and ability to operate together in times of distress. Conclaves like these provide an excellent opportunity to discuss the security challenges, current and emerging, and mutually establish measures to enhance cooperation between our air forces. The topics for this conclave have been chosen based on the technological advances, changing threat matrix, and evolution of air power as we see it, and we look forward to the presentation and discussions on these subjects and all such related aspects. The nature of warfare has changed significantly in the last few years. Advent of new technologies and cross-linking of physical, digital, and cognitive domains has complicated the art of warfighting considerably. Our understanding of national boundaries has shifted well beyond the classical definitions of airspaces, land borders, and shorelines. An attack may originate without warning several time zones away, and its effect may proliferate rapidly across several domains. Also, the exponential technological progress made in the last few years has made the realm of SEPCON warfare more complex. The low cost and easy availability of simple disruptive technology like drones with small state or non-state actors have made such technology and weapons more lethal, agile, and capable of generating disproportionate effects. the attack on Aramco oil refinery with armed drones, new drone technologies in the Syrian conflict, and mass usage of unmanned aircraft system and loitering munitions in Armenia, Azerbaijan highlight the changing nature of modern warfare. We are closely observing these developments and are focusing on developing capabilities in the unmanned and optionally manned platforms, manned unmanned teaming, and anti drone technologies and capabilities. With growing dependence on space for communication, navigation, precise weapon delivery, ISR, etc., space based assets have become critical to warfighting. And these assets are both force multipliers and targets themselves. In the digital great game, software has become as important as hardware, and adversaries are constantly trying to target space, electronic, and the IT infrastructure. The ease and degree of deniability and anonymity associated with such attacks increases vulnerability of critical national infrastructure as well as the defense infrastructure. There is a requirement to have mechanisms to rapidly identify and handle such threats together. Multi-domain awareness through ground, sea, or airspace based platforms is a critical prerequisite to meet the growing security challenges. In order to gain an advantage in the decision cycles and ensure that we retain an edge in a highly dynamic battle airspace, we need a very high degree of networked situational awareness for the decision makers. Towards this, a cooperative and collaborative network centric approach for information sharing and partnerships in combating subversive activities would go a long way. And for such things, this conclave would be an ideal place to discuss. At this point, I would like to dwell briefly upon IF's experience in building a potent network centric capability. In 2006, we embarked on a path of integrating all our sensors, radars, AVACs, ISR platforms, etc., into a network system called the Integrated Air Command and Control System. And today we have this seamless airspace surveillance capability across the entire airspace, and this has been done indigenously with our own industry. Concurrently, we have been actively partnering with industry to expand our digitization and automation footprint across the domains. A leading IT firm has developed our electronic maintenance management system, which has now become one of the world's largest such system deployed against multiple types of platforms and equipment across the Indian Air Force. And the entire flow is digital and automated. We are also working on multiple AI-based tools in order to enhance our operational efficiency. These capabilities will be visible to you as you go around the industry stalls during the Aero India. India and Indian Air Force are also conscious of the responsibility that we share with our friends and partners in responding to calls for assistance in the wake of natural disasters and calamities. IF, with its potent strategic airlift capability, has been at the forefront of HADR missions in this region. Towards COVID-related tasks, IF has undertaken extensive missions for evacuation as well as providing medical supplies. To deepen the HADR cooperation and coordination among our neighbors, we have also been conducting regular exercises on bilateral and multilateral front to mutually share our expertise and assist in capability building. To enhance such interoperability further, we should look at establishing a methodology for sharing ISR grid as and when necessary. International cooperation can be created by enthusiastic, forward-thinking planners and partners, but they need to be backed by credible and appropriate military power, which should be largely indigenous. To build indigenous capability, the Government of India has introduced multiple reforms and policy changes which encourage partners to collaborate on creating the next generation's technologies and platforms under the Make in India program. From the IF's perspective, we have placed large orders for the light combat aircraft, overall in excess of 7 million USD, and also placed orders with respect to radars, weapon systems, sensors, and all such platforms. LCA by itself is the best aircraft in the lightweight category that we know of, and is in the future going to be a major part of our Indian Air Force. We are also embarking on the development of advanced medium combat aircraft, which is going to be a 5th generation aircraft with some 6th generation technologies in a public-private partnership model. We have already placed large orders for other indigenous systems apart from radars and weapons. I have no doubt in my mind that in the coming decade, the Indian airspace sector will truly come of age and become a significant player in the overall global airspace supply chain. To conclude, seen through the geostrategic prism, India is central to the peace, stability, and security in this region, and Indian Air Force's prowess would be a crucial enabler. This conclave gives us the opportunity to exchange ideas and views and would undoubtedly enhance multilateral cooperation and engagements between our air forces. And for effective, prompt, and sustainable air operations in response to any situation that requires cooperative action. I thank you once again for joining us at Aero India 21 and being a part of this conclave. I am sure you all will have a good look at all the exhibitions and the exhibitors who have put their stalls in Aero India, and have a good look at the air show and the air displays. I look forward to constructive and fruitful interactive sessions which are ahead of us, and I would like to specially thank the Honorable Raksha Mantri and the Chief of Defence Staff for sharing their precious time and being here with us for the inaugural session, and the Honorable Raksha Mantri for his inaugural address. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now may I please request the Honorable Raksha Mantri, Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, the chief guest for the conclave, to address the august gathering.